Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Biz, and at least that's the nickname they throw at me. And hey, I want to tell you a quick story about a guy named Sean. His name's Sean Robinson. He used to go by the name S. Rob. Maybe he still does. But I'll tell you what, when I met Sean years ago, I don't know if it's the same Sean that you know today. And so Sean has given me permission to share this story. You know, when Sean came to our youth group, I was a youth pastor down at Colonial Woods. And I remember he would come in and he was always wearing the same color every week. Kind of strange, right? And I noticed all of his buddies were wearing the same color. And so, you know, I grew up in Nebraska. When you're wearing the same color, you're usually part of a club or a group like the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, something like that. But, you know, I didn't grow up in the city near Detroit. And so I quickly learned that Sean was representing his gang, and he was representing a gang. And as he came in, I noticed every week they were wearing the same color. And then I began to notice another group wearing the same color as well. And when they would show up at youth group, a lot of times they would fight each other, they'd cuss each other out, they'd punch each other. And I remember just, you know, guys smoking in the bathroom, smoking weed or doing whatever they're doing. I remember some guys actually pretending to listen in church service, and then they would go up and they would take the bandana of the other gang color, and they put it on the altar. And you know, at first I thought wow, they're coming to the Lord, they're doing something amazing. But then I realized, no, they're just making a mockery out of the whole thing, and they're trying to you know, put the other gang on the altar type of thing. And so it just got out of hand. The bus driver ended up getting punched in the face one night, and I'll just tell you what, it just got crazier and crazier as time progressed. And so eventually I was told by my supervising pastor that, you know, we got to put an end to this. And you know, they're coming in with two different colors. I mean, and you're doing everything you can to try to reach these guys, and it's not coming through. And I remember even doing nights where we'd flip youth group around. They'd always sit in the back, one color to the left, one color to the right. And I'd say, hey, it's flip night, and we'd flip all the chairs around. So then I'd all of a sudden be in the front row, and I'd preach my guts out, and I wouldn't get anywhere with these guys. And it was getting ridiculous. And so the supervising pastor said, hey, you know, we got to get rid of this color thing, this two-side thing. And he said, when they come back next week, let's check their colors at the door. So go out and buy some shirts for these guys and give them, you know, some different shirts as they come in. And I thought, oh, that's going to go great, right? So I go to Goodwill, and you know, I was a young youth pastor then. I was like, this will be fun. I'm going to get all these crazy shirts. I'm going to get, you know, like Winona Judd, some country artists, because gangbangers love country, right? So I got, you know, I didn't get the Eminem or Dre or anything like that. We got all the country artists, the tie-dye, the hippie-looking shirts, the ugliest shirts I could find. And I bought all these shirts. And so when they came in, I said, hey, guys, sorry, man, you can't wear your colors this week. You know, we're not a part of two different gangs here. We're just Jesus' family. And so here's a shirt for you, a shirt for you, shirt for you. And a lot of you know, these gangbangers came in and they were laughing about it, and they're like, all right, sure, check this out, yo. And then Sean comes in, and I say, hey, here you go. And I can't remember what I gave him, but he was like, beep. All right, I'm not going to say it, but he F-bombed me. He was like, I ain't taking that. And he goes off into the parking lot and just starts cussing and F-bombing and swearing. And so not only is this Wednesday night youth group night, but it's also adult ministry night. So adults are coming in, hearing this guy cussing out there. Senior citizens are coming in, hearing this guy cussing and swearing and kicking and throwing up a fuss. And so one of our pastors goes out, our older pastors, and he confronts him on some stuff. And so Sean cusses him out. And so, you know, I'm told this next week after youth group, I'm told by the supervising pastors, hey, you know what? That kid's done. He can't come back. Don't let that guy back in the door. He had his chance, and you know, there's a time when you just kind of let him go. And so I didn't figure Sean was going to come back anyway. But here he comes. S. Rob comes back a week later, him and his gang, and now they're all wearing black. You know, they're wearing black, and so they're not wearing the colors of their gang. So I was like, and I'm not supposed to let him in. But I said, hey, Sean, I know you and I don't talk much, and I tried to talk to him before, and all he did was say, you know, he would never say anything. And I said, hey, but I want you to know I'm going to give you another chance here to come to youth group. But if you see those supervising pastors, you got to hide, dude. You got to run. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm putting my neck on the line for you because I believe in you and I see something in you, bro. And he's like, oh. And I think he kind of took that to heart a little bit. And then I told him, hey, how about instead of you riding the bus home at night, how about I take you home and we'll play basketball after youth group, and then we'll just have a little chat. Well, Sean was down with basketball. You know, he didn't know about this Jesus stuff, but he was down with basketball, and he ends up hanging out every night, every week after youth group. We're playing ball, and then I take him home, and we had some awesome conversations about the Lord, about what he's going through in life, about his mountains and valleys in life, about gang life, about other things, struggles and hopes and dreams. And you know, I began to see this guy not as just a gangbanger, but I saw him as a real dude, as a good dude who had some goodness in him, who God wanted on his team. And eventually, Sean disappeared. I didn't know where he went, and I found out he went to another youth group. And I remember when he came back to our youth group, he came back all excited. He said, "Hey, Biz, you're not gonna believe this. I went forward. I stood in front of everyone at this youth group, and I gave my life to the Lord. I began to walk this out. I started this journey with Jesus." And he was excited, and I was excited for him. And he began to come back to youth group, and we had some great conversations. And I remember looking at him one day, and I said, "Hey, Sean, you're really starting to grow in the Lord. How about you go with me to the juvenile detention center this week and give your testimony?" He's like, "Dude, I don't know about that." And he said, "One of my best friends from the gang, he's still in the gang. I mean, he's not going to be excited to see me share. He's going to be ticked." And he's like, "Oh, let me think about that. Let me pray about it." And he thought and prayed about it, and he decided to go. And I remember when Sean got up to share that night at the juvenile detention center, he was scared. He didn't know how it was going to go. And when we got in there, I remember his buddy from the gang, his best friend, went and sat in the back. And he didn't even want to talk to Sean. And Sean gets up to give his testimony, and guys are listening intently, the gals and guys, and it was amazing. It was like you could hear a pin drop. When I speak there, people listen halfway, you know, but when Sean was talking, people were all in. And I remember that night, I think it was 6 people, if I remember correctly, began their journey with Jesus because of Sean's testimony. But then Sean's best buddy from the gang came up to him, and he kind of shoved Sean a little bit, if I remember correctly, and said, "What's up, bro? You're supposed to be true to the gang, man. You're supposed to stick with your real family. What's this new family you're part of?" And he was ticked off, kind of shoved Sean and went back to his cell. Well, Sean lost a friend that night, and I remember talking to Sean on the way home, and yeah, that was hard for him. It was hard for him, but he also said, "But I found something in Jesus that's worth it," you know, and seeing those 6 people begin to walk their journey with God through me, it's amazing. And so what was amazing is now Sean had made a full U-turn. He was headed one way. Now he made a full U-turn, and now God was using him in a powerful way where Sean was raising up people of this new family, the family of Jesus. And so it's been amazing to just hear Sean's stories over the years. We haven't stayed in touch a whole lot, and life is full of mountaintops and valleys, mountains and valleys. You know, it's not always easy, but it's so exciting just to let you guys know that guy doing your youth event, that's where he started at. And I remember the first time I talked with him, I was sitting in a bus trying to talk to him. All he would say is, basically, leave me alone, just shut up, go away, preacher. You know, and now he's that kid right there. He's that man now who's found light, and he wants you to find that same light that he's found. So I just want to pray that you guys would find hope, the hope that Sean found years ago. If you haven't found that hope yet, I can tell you that it's worth making the U-turn for. And I'll let Sean maybe share some of that, how to do that with you throughout the rest of tonight. So thanks for letting me be a part of the journey. All right. Peace out, guys.